Hi, welcome back to English 111 and happy Thanksgiving week. I hope that you are up to date on where you should be with your Core Project 4 essay. If you are, then this is the week that it's due, December 1st, before midnight. So, you this week, of course, watched the video. I'm surprised at students. I can look at what you do on Moodle, and I'm surprised at how many students don't watch these little videos, because I would think they would be helpful. If I were a student, I would want to do that. But so here's where we are in the process of our last time we did this opposition, and then the refutation, and then your conclusion. I meant to put it on last week's tab at the beginning of the week, but I forgot and did not add it until later in the week. So I hope you saw that before you were able to do your submit your rough draft to Smart Thinking. So now you should be to the point where you've submitted your rough draft to Smart Thinking and you're ready to revise and submit your final. So here we are at the end of the process that we have been taking a look at here. Okay, so the other thing for this week, I put the assignment sheet on here again just in case. I hate for you to have to scroll back through and look for it, so I put it on here again. Real easy way to get back to that first website that I gave you, the UN website where you chose your goal, where I hope you got your amazing fact to start as your attention getter for this essay, and also where you could look at the targets that the UN has put forward to meet the goal and come up with your 3 solutions that you're going to talk about in the paper. Just want to remind you, this is a problem solution paper, and the persuasive part is you're trying to convince your readers that your solutions are doable and are sustainable. And so that's where you bring in your evidence to help prove that this is something that actually can be done. It's already being done, and you have your evidence from your research to back that up. So that's on there again. Also, this Core Project 4 Organizational Instructional Outline. Right here. Where I have my sample introduction paragraph incorporated into that, and then I have the information where you would put your background. In fact, I have a little bit of a background written. Of course, I did not bring in evidence to complete it, which you will need to do. And then I have a little bit of my body paragraphs done, but none of them have any kind of evidence brought in yet. So you would need to bring in your evidence to build those. And another thing, I noticed some of you, when I was looking at your introduction paragraphs and your body paragraphs, some of you were putting in these subheadings, and so I just put those subheadings in there to let you know where the information would fall. That's the outline part of it. Excuse me. But you do not put those subheadings in there. The way we know you've gone on to another topic is because you have a different topic sentence. So your background paragraph should have a topic sentence. Your body paragraphs about the solution should all have topic sentences. Your refutation or your opposition and refutation should have a topic sentence, and your conclusion doesn't have exactly a topic sentence, but it is. It's where you restate your thesis that you had to begin with, restate which goal it is that you are trying to persuade your readers is something doable and something that we can meet. So again, you won't put those subheadings in, but the information is there for you. All right, so I put that on there again. And then your basic MLA format. I have noticed a few students, not most, but a few, are still not using basic MLA format. It is 1-inch margins, which usually, if you do a Google Doc, is defaulted to 1-inch margins, Times New Roman 12-point font, double line spacing. Your title is centered, and you always indent the first sentence of each new paragraph. I've seen a lot of people that put extra line spacing between the paragraphs. That's not MLA format, and the same people are not indenting. So that's how I can tell it's a new paragraph, because it's indented and it has a topic sentence. Your heading on the left-hand side, most of you are getting that just fine. The header, some of you are not putting that in. And again, here are the instructions for that. Click on Insert up here. Click on Page. Where is it? There it is. Header and page number. We don't want to click on header. We want to click on page number. And then we want to click that first option that puts it over there, aligned on the right side of the page. And then, of course, you'll add your last name in front of that page number. Here is how to do the hanging indent using the little dragging of the bars up here where you pull it over by the triangle over to the 1/2-inch margin and then push the bar at the top back over to the left margin. You can also do it by going up to Format, clicking on Align and Indent, going all the way to the bottom to Indentation Options, going down to Special Indent, get the drop-down menu and clicking on Hanging, and then apply it, and that will also work. That way you don't have to toggle with these little toggles up here. Okay. So anyway, this is just a reminder. What you need to do for your works cited entries is here. Author's last name, comma, author's first name, period. Title of article in quotation marks with a period inside the quotation mark. Title of the website, if it's a book, title of the book. Go in italics, comma, the date of publication, comma, the URL, period, and then accessed, and your day, month, year. Remember, today is the 22nd of November, so it would be 22, November, abbreviated, NOV, period, and then the year, and then a period. So, and if you don't have any of that information, like you don't have a date of publication, you can't find a date of publication on it, skip it. Just skip it. If you don't have an author's name, skip it and start with the title of your article. But the main thing is, whatever is hanging out here, this little hanging out part right here, needs to match your in-text reference. Because remember, MLA formatting is a two-part process. You're going to mention it in your text, and whatever you mention in your text needs to match whatever is hanging out here. So in other words, don't go in there and mention the title of the site, but then don't tell me how I can find that. The only way I can find it is to look in alphabetical order here on your works cited page. So it needs to match the hanging out part. It's really easy. It's really simple. And whatever's hanging out there, that's what you need to mention in your text. If you have an author's last name, it's fine. You can mention it in the sentence, and you don't have to have a parenthetical at the end. Or if you mention it by website, then you're going to need a parenthetical with the author's name at the end, or the title of the article, whatever it is that you happen to start. And also remember to ICE, introduce it. It needs an attributive tag, a signal phrase, something to identify to your reader that you have not, that these are not your words, this is something you read somewhere. So according to, or so-and-so states, or something like that, to let your reader know this is not my idea, this is somebody else's idea. And then you want to cite it properly. Make sure that you have something there that matches on the works cited page. It's the hanging out part on the hanging indent. That's why the hanging indent is so important, or a second reason it's important. And then after you get all that information in there, remember your quote pair punct, where you have the quote. If it is a quote, direct quotation, you have your quotation marks, parentheses with whatever is in the parentheses, in parentheses, and then your end punctuation, your period there. And then explain. You're not finished. Don't just end with that information. Explain the significance, the importance, the meaning of the source material. Never end with a quotation or a reference to a source. Always end with your own commentary. So that's up there again. We've been over that before, but I thought it was a good idea to go over it again with you. And see, what else did I put up here for you? Oh, just to remind you again, I've had this up here before too, but remember, this is supposed to have an academic tone. And one way to have an academic tone is not to use contractions. Cannot instead of can't, do not instead of don't. And you should avoid first person singular and plural. Don't put any I's or we's or us's or ours in there. Just if you see those when you're proofreading, go back and reword it so that it's in third person, because that gives it that academic tone. Also avoid second person. It's really, especially when you're writing persuasion, it's really easy to convert to that. You need to do this, we need to do that. Don't have any second person in there either. Write it in third person. And never in your paper do you want to say, I plan to discuss, or I will talk about, or in this paper, or my chosen goal is this. You don't want to do any of that. I call it announcing. But just write the material and don't make it refer to any part of the assignment. And then finally, in a persuasion paper like this, take out all the I feels, I believe, in my opinions, or I thinks, because that all those phrases all weaken what you're trying to say. Make your language strong and convincing. Okay, so for our pacing guide, here we are with the December 1st deadline coming up. You should make your final revisions to your essay and submit your final essay on the Turnitin link. Here's the Turnitin link before midnight on Sunday, December 1st. If you don't want to have to mess with it over the Thanksgiving weekend, because I know a lot of people are traveling and doing that, then get it done early. Get it done, Monday and Tuesday, and get it out of the way so you don't have that hanging over your head. But please don't come up here and say, I haven't had time to work on this because we had Thanksgiving. Everybody's having Thanksgiving. That's why I have it due after Thanksgiving. But I'm going to start grading these the next week, and right after that, December 2nd through 8th, you're going to be taking your final exam. And I have to have the final grades turned in, so we won't have time for late assignments dragging in. So I know you can do your best to get that in on time. Here is a journal also for this week. The graded assignment is that, but also this journal right here, where you're going to turn in your smart thinking feedback. I want to make sure you actually access to Smart Thinking and got their feedback. And then this journal asks you to, after getting your Smart Thinking feedback, to copy and paste it into the journal, and then add a couple of sentences at the bottom telling how you plan to use that to improve your essay when you're doing your revisions. So that's what's for this week, and we're at the end of this. Counts 20% of your grade. Do your very best, and I trust that since you got feedback on your introduction paragraphs and your background paragraphs, please take my comments into consideration too as you revise. So that's your job this week. Revision and submit the final, and do the journal with your Smart Thinking feedback. And I hope you all have a really great holiday. Thanks. Bye. See you next time.